Hello there, lovely people. It's Alex from Nintendo Life here. Well, it's not just Alex from Nintendo Life. No, we've got the whole gang here. We've got Tom. Say hello, Tom.
Hello.
We've got Damo.
Hello.
We've got Ant. And we've got Daz. A motley crew indeed. Anyway, we're here to discuss Nintendo's E3 2015 digital event. And it was quite well. It was a lot happened in it, but not everybody seemed particularly...
It was mixed, maybe.
It was a mixed response, I think, to say the least. That's probably
That's putting it mildly.
But they started off by using there was the style where they started off using the Muppets, and I thought that was really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That was really
I'm
nice.
not
Reggie's
quite
face.
Sure why, but yes, it was good.
It was a laugh, wasn't it?
Yeah, I like the Muppets.
Yeah.
So, I think we've mentioned in the office before that there might have some racial stereotypes thrown in there that might be a little bit questionable, but you know, it's Nintendo. So.
But why the Muppets?
Why Muppets?
And they-
Why
Why
not?
not?
Were they real Muppets, i.e. the brand name?
Were the authentic Muppets?
I
Exactly.
think they were because
Well, they look good.
They look-
the other characters that were involved did look like real Muppets.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I assume it was for the benefit of Star Fox, which we've
Yeah.
got on the screen.
Yeah.
behind
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
us. But yeah, I mean, I guess that
It worked.
style suits them. So.
It worked.
Yeah.
It
But
worked.
apart from that, we didn't really get any explanation as to why that was a thing.
Do we
No,
need
we
to
did
know
get, like,
why?
I guess we don't.
Mario.
So-
I guess we don't.
sometimes
things
things
are
just,
I
they
think
just don't need an
sometimes-
explanation.
Sometimes we can be a bit too entitled.
Yeah.
We'll come on to that.
Well, yeah, we'll get onto that later. Anyway, why don't we start off by talking about, the biggest thing, Star Fox Zero.
Yes.
Yeah. We
I
knew
mean,
it was
come on,
we
it
knew
was-
it was coming.
we knew it was coming, but it was
because
still brilliant,
It,
I
you know,
think.
it was last year's announcement.
Yeah.
But it was the big game of the event. Definitely.
It was, yeah.
I mean, we spoke about this a bit, but maybe visually it was not as.
Visually not...
Because we now know that Platinum's doing it, and obviously look at Bayonetta 2, and that's like one of the best looking games on the
Yeah,
machine.
it's not striking in that it looks a little bit simplistic. I mean, it's
They've
space,
gone
so
for that,
sometimes
haven't
it's
they?
difficult to look
Yeah.
interesting in space.
They've deliberately gone for a very basic look though as well, I think.
Yeah.
But obviously, also we've got to remember is they've had a year to do it, and that's.
We've only had a year. It's not the finished thing, although it is due out in 6 months' time.
Yeah, they
That
can't
build's going to be a few months old.
Yeah.
I think a
I-
common theme though is that the Treehouse did it more justice than the
Yeah.
digital event
Yeah.
because it looked quite interesting.
Which is why those treehouse
Like they were
segments
fighting
so-
a boss that if it captured you, the only way to shoot it, because the only angle you could have to shoot it would be on the gamepad.
Right,
That kind
yeah.
of thing.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of promising stuff.
One of the other things with Star Fox, when it was announced last year, the announcement was literally, we're making a Star Fox game. There was no detail. They weren't clear about what kind of game it was going to be. It sounded like they were still looking for ideas, which was a little bit kind of worrying at the time. It was like, well, what are they going to do with the franchise? So at least with Zero, I think it's what everyone wanted.
Yeah, not a
It's-
selection
Yeah.
of mini games.
It
basically.
is Star Fox in the classic sense. I know they've said it's not a sequel, but most of it feels very much like it could
Yeah.
be just another Star Fox
They've
game.
just thrown the chronology out the window. They just said,
yeah.
it's just
So
Star Fox,
storyline
forget
wise,
about it.
it's not in the same.
Yeah.
Which I think
same
you can
line,
do
but-
with a franchise like Star Fox, to be honest. It doesn't
Yeah.
really
Yeah, it's-
need to have an underlying
there'll be
narrative.
The lore isn't exactly
No, it doesn't need
key
to follow
the
on
game.
from anything.
No.
There'll be nostalgia because I know sort of initial write-up. Alan in LA has said that at some points they're just lifting lines from Star Fox 64, just
Yeah.
word for word. So
Mm.
I mean, that could
Yeah,
be a
I-
good thing. You could be playing it and
Yeah.
it'll give you a little buzz.
So story's
Yeah.
not a big
So it'll be
big
familiar.
thing for me.
No,
I was
same here.
more interested in the mechanics, how it's going to work, and
Yeah.
the transformations moving.
Oh,
between
transformation.
That all looks great.
Turning
So,
into a little chicken robot.
a chicken.
Chicken
That
army.
was a personal
Yeah,
highlight
that's-
for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, they just sort of flutter down. They even use their little wings to flutter down.
Oh,
I love
bless.
it. It's so charming.
And this is from Star Fox 2.
It is, yeah.
It was originally in Star Fox 2, yeah, that
Okay.
transformation. And then they've just lifted it. I mean, Miyamoto mentioned that in the video, didn't he? He said
Right.
directly it was in Star Fox
Some
2.
would have you
Mm.
believe they're using the same visual assets as well.
Oh, I wouldn't say.
Oh, let's not get
Scathing.
onto the spicy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, although none of us have played it, we all think it looks pretty good. We're all
Yeah,
happy
I'm
with
excited for it.
Star
You know,
Fox.
it's
Yeah,
So
I-
that's a thumbs up, I think, from us.
Oh, without a doubt.
So
Yeah.
far, so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
yeah, officially,
And
I
it's
think
all
it's
downhill
fine.
from there.
Well,
Oh no, we got Mario Maker as well. Anyway, shall we move on to the next
Yeah.
item on the agenda, which is Xenoblade Chronicles X. Now, We've already seen a fair bit of this game in previous directs and things like that, particularly from Japan, and they
It's
also
out
had the
in-
North American
It's out
one.
in Japan now.
It's out in
Yeah.
Japan now.
Yeah.
Oh, you see, that shows how much I know.
For
Yeah.
a while.
But
It was April, I think.
I'm really excited. It looks really good.
Yeah.
I'm really
gonna
pleased.
Sit out on
Tom's
this.
our resident expert on
I'm not-
Xenoblade.
I've not been paying too much attention.
No.
Yeah.
I
We
think-
know Tom's
To be
a
honest,
massive fan.
the only sad thing is that it'll sell about 2 copies because
Yeah.
it's coming out in the hot.
Well, I'm buying a
it's-
copy and
it's
you'll
gonna
buy a
clash-
copy.
Well, yeah,
There's the
exactly.
2
We'll
copies.
buy the copies. It's coming out at the same time as like Mario Tennis, which will be the family game.
Star
And then you'll
Fox
have
will be
Star
a
They're
Fox.
similar-
aimed
Yeah.
at 2 different audiences.
I know,
perhaps.
Yeah.
People with a limited amount of money, and then obviously you've got holiday releases on all the other systems.
Yeah.
I think you were hoping
It
for
might be the
maybe
one
August,
falls through the
September kind
cracks.
of time.
Yeah, I was hoping.
Before that
If it
rush.
come out alongside or near Mario Maker,
Well,
arguably, it
we
might
still
have
don't
better
know.
sales.
We
Don't
still
know
don't know
Europe
whether it's
dates.
Europe yet, do we? In that,
Did you give a date?
I don't
it
think
might be
so.
next year
It
for
may-
Europe.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that was my fear.
Well, undisclosed. I'm sure that's what was said. The date in the video, which was the 4th
Nightmare.
of December, wasn't it?
4th of December.
I think that's Xenoblade done anyway. There's not much to say.
Yeah, I mean,
No, we've already seen it,
Yeah.
It was nice to see
Moving on.
it, but yeah, we'll move on. The next item on the agenda is Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer, the 3DS title that has sort of polarised Animal Crossing fans.
Well, I know Damien's a big fan of this
I
one.
can't wait to get my hands on it.
I know.
No, I'm not sure that's
I think it looks quite interesting. It looks a lot more fleshed out,
Yeah.
fully
To be fair,
idealised than
I was talking to
than the
Tom
original.
about this, and it was interesting because obviously a big part of the Animal Crossing game on 3DS was doing the home
the
design.
house, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people talked about it, shared photos about it. I think Nintendo ran a few competitions around that. And then they've clearly thought, okay, let's spin this out into a bigger game. But
it's
I
a
think-
vehicle for amiibo cards. ultimately.
yeah, but
Yeah,
it's-
I go with that.
I guess it's one of those things that it worked well because it was within Animal
Yeah.
Crossing.
Game, yeah.
Mm.
On its
Whether
own,
it will work on
might.
its own is, to
Yeah.
be seen.
I mean, I think
Yeah.
It feels like it should be an extension of New Leaf.
I think you said it yourself, didn't you, that you were a bit
Like a
shocked that it's
like
a retail
DLC.
release.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it should
I
really
thought it
be
was
a-
going to be an eShop, maybe even
It's got eShop
free to
written
play.
all over it, but then I suppose how do you then distribute the game with the cards? I assume there's some cards come with
well
the
in
game. do they?
Japan
Yeah.
there's bundles.
we
Bundle,
assume
yeah.
so, yeah, because that
Yeah.
I don't know whether you can play the game without the cards.
In Japan,
I don't know
you
for
can.
sure, but
I think you can.
Yeah, but the Amiibo is
Depends
collecting
if they have
toys.
stock. I mean,
But
people might...
cards aren't
Yeah.
as collectible as. a
No, I
plastic
think,
toy.
I think
no,
the reason
but-
they did it was so that if you bought the one amiibo and you wanted the other ones in the game, you could buy the cheaper card, so then you don't have to spend as
But
much.
which
No,
Nintendo
well-
is talking about, they'll still probably be expensive, won't they? A pack of cards is not
but
going to be.
I would hope you'd get the cards, maybe 3 cards for the price of one figure
Right.
or something like that.
No, you get a hell of a lot more than that.
Do you?
Okay.
What's the price?
I believe, I'm only going by the Japanese rough translation, conversion into American currency, but it worked out at about $6 for a pack of 5, I think.
Oh,
Well, that's
Okay.
not bad. So it's
Yeah,
good.
so
Yeah.
That, I mean, if
But that-
you're
that is
interested
just-
in using amiibo,
That is just
not
a
for the
guess, I'm
figure,
not
then
going on.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
The
little
Amiibo,
toy
I
thing.
think
was,
these
yeah,
cards are a warm up for Pokemon cards.
It's
Quite
gonna, yeah,
just
it's
so
gonna
happy.
happen. It's gonna happen.
So this is just them doing the tech. How
Yeah.
do we make it work with our development teams?
Yeah.
Test print.
Manufacturing it and printing, blah blah
Yeah.
blah. Let's get it all done with something that's not going to sell in huge numbers, so that when you do something that is going to sell in big numbers,
You've got the frame.
not that they learned much with Amiibo, 'cause, like that's been terrible. But
Anyway, we've
With the cards.
we've sort of dwelled. We're going to
Yeah.
continue with the card idea, but move on to the Wii U title, Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much the same reaction.
It is a similar reaction,
This was
only
a little bit of a
Well,
weird
just
one.
general
yeah.
excitement.
From you, maybe.
it struck me as quite an odd move because you first saw it and you saw Animal Crossing. It was HD. Everybody has been clamouring for an HD Animal Crossing
people
game
would
on
kill
the Wii
for
U
HD.
for a long time. Pretty much since the Wii U's come out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Particularly since New Leaf has been out.
Well, it's
And
an
they
obvious
brought
franchise.
this out and you got that idea in your head and it turned out it was just a board game.
It's just Mario Party with Animal
What?
Crossing, which
Yeah.
is not what anyone asked for, I don't think.
I mean, everybody was like, what? I think everybody was quite disappointed by that. I mean, the
think
game
it's the
itself,
worst thing they showed.
the game itself just looks like Monopoly, which isn't a bad thing.
Well, it's very
but-
much like Mario Party, isn't it, on the Wii U?
It is, yeah. It
Yeah.
looks quite similar, only you actually control your own piece rather than going around in a
Yeah.
silent car.
together.
Yeah.
Has it
I don't care for that.
Is that a retail game or is that going to be an eShop game? 'Cause that cannot be a retail
I
game.
assume it's gonna
a
be
budget retail.
Yeah, I'd go with budget retail.
It'll
Yeah.
take the same box as Mario Party.
The thing is,
It's going to ship
Yeah.
with an amiibo.
exactly
isn't it?
that's why
Yeah.
it'll
No
be
doubt,
retail
yeah.
because it'll ship with a couple of amiibo.
Mm.
Yeah.
But let's move on to the next item on the list, which is Hyrule Warriors Legends. Hyrule Warriors on the 3DS. I don't think
This was a massive surprise.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
weren't
nobody
expecting
saw
that.
this coming.
I think even if it wasn't a surprise, the reaction probably would have been the same because it's kind of like, do we really need Hyrule Warriors on the 3DS? is the
It's
question.
unusual that I don't think we expected it just because I mean it was a relatively good Wii U game. Okay, nothing special.
Yeah,
That's it's just pure business.
I assume,
Yeah.
There's going to be no demand for it, I don't think, but it'll sell quite well.
Well,
It's-
they've got,
I think
they've
it's
got the
impressive.
install base on the 3DS.
They've got the
they
Dynasty
got.
Warriors engine on the 3DS already,
Yeah.
and then it's on. So porting it across won't have taken much effort. So.
Anyway, I think we should move on to the next item, which is, of course, Skylanders Supercharged. That was interesting.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the game, but the whole idea with the Amiibo / Skylanders
Genius.
toy.
I think
Genius
it's a good
idea.
business move, isn't it?
It is a good business move. It's the thing is it's not really our kind of thing.
No.
It's a
we're
children's
not,
game,
we're
isn't
not
it?
Skylanders audience.
We're children, aren't we?
Well,
We're big kids, yeah.
yeah, big kids, but this is for
Yeah,
little
child
kids.
size.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, we like the figurines more than the game.
Yeah.
I think it's obvious that Nintendo will want their characters in a third-party game.
Yeah.
They've got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
The characters are going to be compatible with normal amiibo, so makes sense. They look kind of quirky as well. They're like styled a little bit
I think it's a
different.
fantastic idea.
Well, we were watching the video and we saw the 3D printed version, just
They look-
in grey.
They look gorgeous, didn't they?
Those looked fantastic, but when
They
was
painted it,
painted.
they just looked like they slapped
Didn't look
poster
good.
paint on top, didn't
Yeah. I think they look quite good in the
Well,
shots.
all right,
Yes,
the
the aesthetic
official
is- the
artwork
aesthetic
looks really
is-
nice.
Well, they're in
but-
tune
yeah.
with what
We don't know.
Skylanders. Let's forget that
Yes.
Skylanders and Amiibo have got two very different aesthetics
Yes.
going on. So they look like a Skylander. So that's kind
Yeah.
of.
Yeah.
But I mean, the game looked great as well. The way they were sort of like integrated into the game, the footage looked really, really impressive on there as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got me interested in that game where I probably would have just ignored it.
Anyway, let's move on.
Move on.
Okay.
Let's move on. What have we got next on the agenda? We have got, well, it's going to be a good one because this is one that you liked, as Zelda Triforce Heroes.
Yes.
Yeah.
What I
It's
like
a link
most
between
about-
worlds with 3 people.
What I like most
Not
about
4
this
because
is
that would be too tall.
No, precisely, yeah.
it took myself and Al quite some time to figure out the try
Try. Yeah.
Try.
relates to having 3
Yeah.
links.
While we
Yeah.
were putting this problem, while we were writing news
That is
about this, it was like
embarrassing.
Triforce hasn't got a dash in it. It's never had a dash in it.
But it has space.
It's
there.
got
Space.
space.
Tries 3. Yeah.
Yes,
So
now we get it.
now we get it.
Yeah. You see, the clue was the fact that a Triforce is made of 3 things.
Yes, yes.
I'm glad you pointed that out.
Well, you know, it's what I do. It's
Yeah,
right here.
yeah.
Hmm.
I've got a bit of a Four Swords Adventures vibe from that.
Oh, without a doubt, yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
4 swords
yeah.
with 3 people.
It's
Yeah.
using
And a lot of new mechanics.
I think it's
One
Dream
less.
World engine.
Yeah.
Looks nice. So it's 3-player co-op online, I assume.
Yeah. It's online,
that's what
yeah.
it said, yeah.
That's
yeah.
really
Yeah.
important.
Local.
And local. So yeah, looks
And you
good.
can play it solo with CPU helpers.
No, no,
You
you
have
control.
dolls.
You
Do you have-
control the other
Yeah,
people.
but-
You switch between them.
Yeah, but when you're not one of them, they're CPU controlled.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't.
So
know.
they're
Yeah,
moving
so
around.
like
and you
they'll
can
follow
switch
you
between
around.
them.
At
Yeah.
least.
They're
But
just
this is how
losing
it
all your
worked
hearts.
on
Yeah.
4
Yeah.
swords
That's
on the DSi.
Yeah, you just swap
DSi
links.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I think it looks good.
I'm fine with that.
I don't know
Yeah.
whether I was charmed or slightly horrified by the fashion stuff. But it's like I kind
Yeah, well,
I
Or
kind
a
of
little bit of both.
I kind
Yeah.
of want to do it. But it's like,
Seeing Link
what?
cross-dressing
Is
was a
that-
bit
the
was a bit
little
jarring.
flourish, the little spin as they're showing off the costumes as well.
I mean, I like it. It's a nice idea, but it is a bit. At the same time,
It's
it's a
weird.
bit
Bit
new.
random.
yeah.
It's going to take a while to get used to
Yeah.
it, I think.
Yeah.
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 What did we think of the totem mechanic then? So
Cool.
3
Oh,
links.
that looks really good.
Yeah. It's thinking outside the box a little bit, isn't
So
it?
some
Yeah.
of the examples where you could only do things at level 2 or
Yeah,
you
yeah.
have to be at level
You
3.
have to- and to reach certain items, and then obviously there's boss fights as
You
well.
were constantly
Yeah.
manipulating your totem heights.
It's interesting. It's an
Yes.
interesting. It's typical Nintendo. They've come up with an idea and thought, let's spin this out and build a mechanic around it.
And they did specifically say that to have 4 links,
Was too tall.
the totem height would be too tall.
Yeah.
Yeah, to have
I'm
4
not
links
sure
would cost
why
like
that is the case, but you know.
And
Well,
it would have
you've
ruined the
also got-
try pun.
Yeah,
Yeah, you've got the
name wouldn't
try
have
one,
worked.
which
Yeah.
helps. Yeah, I
Maybe
mean,
the process of getting on creating the totem is quite fiddly, I suppose, to do in a battle situation. So maybe getting 4 people on was too.
Well,
or maybe they just couldn't be
three's the
bothered
magic
to.
number.
Things
So.
like
code another layer.
it's not the 4 foot, the quad force, is it? It's
No,
the tri-
exactly.
No. Although some people have that theory. Anyway, that is for another time. No, we're not going to talk about that. We're going to move on to the next item. Metroid Prime Federation Force.
Yes!
Here we go.
This is
We
the Metroid game.
loved this.
It's the Metroid game we wanted.
I can't understand how anyone would have any issue.
Nintendo
with
won
this.
E3 with this.
Yeah,
I'm not sure the internet is still working.
No, it's
everyone has reacted to this.
Yeah, everyone's had a reaction.
It's been a bit Marmite,
It's
and
been-
for our American viewers,
Marmite
just
has been
research
fine, many people
Marmite.
like
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You love it or you hate it. There you go. You don't have to
Yeah.
research it anymore.
Yeah.
I think let's just be straight with this. It's next level game, so
Poor next level
It's
games.
a good studio, and we think
It's an amazing studio.
the game
It is, yeah.
the game will probably be quite fun
Yeah.
and entertaining.
The game will be good.
And I don't think a lot of fans are kind of disputing, or they're not focusing on that. They're focusing on the fact that everyone wanted a Metroid announcement. They got a Metroid announcement,
But it's not the one
but it
they
wasn't
wanted.
for a classic Metroid game.
Yeah.
My thinking is, to be honest, that after Luigi's Mansion 2, Next Level Games did a load of prototypes, and one was a co-op shooty game. And
Someone happened to be
I think,
walking
and
by
I
the
think
office
we've all
and-
said this at some point, that Nintendo turned around at some point and
Slap
said,
Metroid on it.
put the Metroid back.
Miyamoto said those people look a bit like Samus.
And next level,
just-
no,
just
please
a
don't
bit.
don't do that.
I
Don't
don't
put
think
Metroid on
Next
it.
Level
We want it.
Games on day one thought
No.
this is a Metroid game.
No.
I think it's strange that they've specifically gone for Metroid Prime. I mean, I know
Yeah.
it's first person, but
Well, that's
that's
amazing.
clearly you know
Yeah.
they're clearly going with that massive distinction
Well,
between the
it's
two styles of
interesting
game.
that they're keeping the Metroid Prime brand.
Yeah,
just because,
active. Yeah.
you know, we don't know whether the next Metroid game will be a Prime game or
No.
not. So
No.
it's-
Or the M2.
well, exactly.
No.
Yeah,
So
first.
I think that's I'm
Other
at
O.
least
Another
I'm
Oh,
happy.
no, what was it I
that
had?
Metroid
Other
Prime
M.
still exists
Yeah.
as a thing.
Yeah.
Like, it gives me hope that it's. And now that they're looking at expanding the universe, it gives me hope that a Metroid Prime game is being worked
Yeah.
on as we
Yeah.
speak.
Yeah, that is a good point. Yeah.
Whether it will be on Wii U or an X is
I
another
think
debate.
that's looking unlikely now. That'll be on
yeah.
Wii U.
I can't remember a game getting as
It's
strong
kind
a
of
reaction.
No.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
been over the top, in my opinion.
Petitions to cease development. Which,
Oh.
think about that for a minute. It's just the
Yeah.
most ludicrous idea.
The article-
So for anybody who
on our
doesn't
site.
know, we've actually
Did
found a petition online that is asking for the development
Yeah.
of Metroid Prime Federation Force to
To
stop.
ceased forthwith.
Yeah, to be cancelled, which is
I think
an outlandish idea. We'll
looking
put a
at-
link in the description.
looking at alternate branding is one thing, but cancelling it is just
Obviously, it's
Yeah.
not going to happen.
that's just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the other part of this Metroid Prime Federation farce, as we've called it,
Yeah.
which is Metroid Prime Blast Ball.
There it is.
There it is.
Yeah.
So
Seventh time lucky.
it's not its own game, but it's kind
No.
of being treated as its own game. I
Yeah,
think
it's
on,
weird.
on the show floor it's only playable basketball, but they're not showing the main game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they seem to be focusing on this. They showed it at the championship as well.
Without the Metroid.
Without the
Mm.
Metroid, which
But
I
it
guess,
looked so Metroid, didn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
I think we all knew at the time that this is
Something.
clearly Metroid something.
Yeah.
We don't think it's going to get a release as its own thing, but it might do.
Maybe not initially, but
You
it
have
might
a niggling
be.
suspicion it could pop
It-
up on the eShop.
Yeah.
It might be something similar to Kirby Triple Deluxe, where you got
Yeah, could be.
DDD's
yeah,
Drum Dash and
yeah.
things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be. Could be.
Or maybe even a mobile game.
Sure.
I don't think it would work. It
Controversial.
uses about 5 buttons just to lock onto the ball
Yeah,
itself.
you
Just
clearly
saying.
haven't read Morgan's preview. This
Yeah.
can't be on mobile.
So we'll put a link to Morgan's
It
preview
barely
in the
works with the
description.
buttons. Never mind.
Speaking of the preview, he seemed to like it.
He said it was
kind of
awkward.
fun.
He said
It
it's
looks
quite
like it looks
awkward,
like a
but
laugh. It
he
doesn't
said
look like
it's
it's stand
fun
up on its
when-
own, but
The online might be a bit rubbish, but I think when you're in a room with people,
Yeah.
it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've got 2 new games to talk about in the next segment because they're
Really?
quite tightly, knit and closely related, but we don't know an awful lot about them. And that's Fire Emblem Fates, which is no longer called If over here, which it's good, and also Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem, which is called something crazy in
That's going
Japanese.
to get a title change.
It's called like hashtag FE or something.
Yeah. Again, Fire Emblem. yeah. Fire Emblem Fates we know a lot about because obviously the Japanese.
Yeah, we've done a lot of coverage
Yeah.
from Japan.
So that was just a trailer, really, wasn't it? More than
It was,
anything?
yeah.
So that was,
It was nice to hear them speaking English though, and actually
Yeah.
being able to understand what
Yeah.
was going on.
We know when it's coming and all that. That
Next year.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Shin Megami Tensei, that was almost.
We
I
still
noticed a lot. That
know
was
what
almost
the game is. don't
Yeah,
we?
it was
still
almost
in-
incomprehensible,
It was
wasn't
still in
it? It was like-
Japanese. I had no idea what was going
But
on.
even if it was in English, I don't think you'd know what was going on.
No,
Because
it
it's
was-
just like it doesn't seem to really represent either of those franchises. It seems to be it's its own thing.
But we've got
Weird,
some more
isn't
IP.
it?
We've got another RPG to talk about, and we're moving on to our Mario segment. We've
Yeah.
got Mario and Luigi Paper Jam.
Yeah.
So we've got a
That's
printer
awesome.
joke in there, which is
Yeah.
always good.
What's
I
the
like
bet-
it.
What's the
Are we
points
gonna
this
ta-
year?
I
Are we going
know.
to take bets on that getting a title change before it comes to Europe?
Oh gosh, I
Oh,
hope
It'll be
I
called
hope not.
paper cut.
To
It'll be called
something
in
really
Europe.
Oh no, that's too
Yeah.
violent. That's too
Yeah,
violent.
yeah.
No, it'll be something boring like Paper Adventure or something.
Yeah, they always do it. They always do it.
Like the Kirby title. They do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This look
Rainbow
good. You're,
paintbrush.
This
Yes.
looks really
you're the
good.
big Mario and Luigi
Yes, that's
RPG fan, aren't you?
yeah. It'll be Game of the Year whenever
It looked
comes
great.
out. Next year. Next
I think it's
spring.
next year. Yeah.
It does look
Yeah.
good. It looks
Yeah, it does
promising.
look good.
Nice use of the paper stuff.
I think it's using a lot of assets from Sticker Star
Yes.
and Dream Team.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the nice thing is that Dream Team engine was quite new.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
sort of first time it had a 3D.
Yeah.
Well,
Sort of. Well, it's sort of
Not
the,
3D, but you know what I mean.
The
3DS.
sprites were 2D but 3D
Yeah.
That's it, yeah.
rendered.
And that was
yeah.
actually really nice. And it looks quite challenging because Mario and Luigi it's always A and B.
Yeah.
One controls, one for each character. So now it's Y with Paper Mario as well.
Well, you
That
got a
looks
bit of
quite
that with
interesting.
you got a bit of that with what is it, Partners Through Time, because you got A, B, X, and Y, because you had Baby Mario and Baby Luigi, and I was expecting to see Paper Luigi, and I was really disappointed that he didn't
Hey, he
appear.
might still be in it.
Hey,
You
there's
never
plenty,
know.
DLC.
plenty of Nintendo Directs
DLC.
to come.
Yeah.
We'll get an amiibo of him.
I mean, I don't know what
Only
else.
exists on 2 dimensions.
That's it.
That
That's the
might still
card.
come actually.
Yeah, it might be it would be nice and light.
He might pop up like halfway in the game.
I
Maybe.
mean, I don't know what everyone
Or
else
maybe if
thought.
you play through the game, then you can play the game again, but with Luigi in there. Imagine.
We've done that bit now.
Yeah.
I don't know what everyone else thought, but I think the 3DS is starting to show its age now a little bit.
A little bit,
Oh,
yeah.
visually, yeah.
Some of the certainly like the Zelda Triforce series, and this to a certain extent, even though it still looks good, there was a little bit of a sort of jarring disconnect between you'd see a Wii U game in the Direct, and then there'd be a 3DS game, and it reminds you that the 3DS is
Getting on a bit.
technically based on technology that was like 10 years old because
Well, yeah,
it
it's
was only
old
on
in-
par with the PSP when
It
it
was
came
old
out.
in 2011. yeah.
So
Well, they've got the horsepower of the new 3DS if they wanted
Yeah,
to
but
utilise
they
it.
don't seem to. That wasn't really mentioned at any point. That any
Yeah.
of these
No,
titles would be
I think-
exclusive.
I don't know.
If
what
you have a
the
new
sales
3DS,
are,
Paper
but
Mario's 3D.
They'd be silly
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
focus games onto the new
Yeah.
one and
Yeah.
disregard the old one.
I think that's a discussion for another time, though. So
Yes,
shall we
yes.
move on to what is it? Mario Tennis Ultra Smash?
Yes.
Correct.
Another shock announcement.
Yeah,
New one.
it's another Mario Tennis.
Yeah.
It looks like the others, which isn't a bad thing. They're fun games. I like them.
But it has jump shots. So-
Whoa!
Jump
Yeah.
shot.
Hold the
And
presses.
Mega Mushrooms.
Mega
I'm not even
mushrooms.
kidding. That's awesome. That's,
Yeah.
I don't know why they've never done it till now. So.
Wow.
Well, they needed the Wii U's power.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
you reviewed
clearly.
the 3DS version, didn't you? Did you review the 3DS version?
I don't know.
Which
Can't remember.
we'd pretty much forgotten about.
was a long
Which
time
I don't know
ago.
whether that's a good thing for Mario Tennis or
Well,
not.
Yeah,
I
it
thought
was.
it
It
was
was,
excellent,
was just
so-
after the launch.
You kind of
wasn't
forget
it?
about these games a little bit.
It was a
Yeah.
good game.
Well,
It's a very good game.
It is just another Mario Tennis game.
Yeah,
It's,
it won't
it's
have
very
taken-
safe. It's not going to be,
Yeah.
particularly unpleasant, or it's not going to be absolutely revolutionary. But it's going to be fun.
But then I think Mario Golf surprised people on the 3DS by being
Yeah.
better than expected.
That was
So
awesome.
maybe
Yeah, it had
it's
a
the
lot
same.
of depth.
It'll be the same developer
I
that
think the
Camelot will
Golf
do all. of
Can
them.
have more depth. I'm not sure how much depth.
This
you
is
can
the
get
trouble,
into a
yeah.
tennis
Tennis is
game,
always
but-
going to be an action.
Maybe you got a strawberry
Game.
eating mini game.
And plus,
You
you're not
could
going to
have.
have. Did the Wii U with the Wii version of Mario Tennis? It had motion controls, didn't it? Is
Well,
that what-
wasn't that a GameCube?
Oh,
release?
was it? It was the
It was-
with
yeah,
the,
it was-
that
it
was
was
Good
Wii
question
Yes.
now. I wonder if it's got Wiimote support.
That's the thing.
I imagine it probably would.
I don't know.
Maybe you could
No,
use the gamepad as well.
well-
You could hold it with 2 hands like that and go. "Ah."
At
Oh gosh,
E3,
no.
and take people out in the living room.
at
Yeah.
E3 apparently the rep is on a gamepad. And
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on to our final topic, the one that we've all been waiting for: Super Mario Maker.
Yeah. I just want the packaging. I don't want the game.
Yeah.
You don't want the game.
I just want the box, and
It is a nice looking box, isn't
The
it?
art book
It's the
looks
best looking
fantastic.
box
Yeah.
I've seen.
Mm.
in
and the
years.
amiibo,
That is
which,
a nice box.
you know, how are we going to get one, but we'll try.
We'll
What about
we'll hijack a truck?
What about the game? No?
Yeah, should we talk
Should we
about the
talk
game,
about the
maybe?
game?
Well,
No, we've seen the game. We're just talking about packaging.
We've already seen quite a lot of the game, but
We saw it last year.
We've
again,
we've
didn't we?
seen even more. It's crazy now. You
Yeah.
can stack Bowsers on top of each
yeah,
other.
during the Nintendo World Championships, we saw quite a
That
lot
was
more.
inspired having
I
that
have
as
to
the
say
last
that
game.
I've
Oh,
been,
absolutely.
Absolutely excellent.
I'd
yeah.
always wanted it, but it was sort of, I wasn't excited about
Yeah.
it. I thought this would be cool.
At
but
first,
that
it
was
appeared to be a sort of by the numbers. Yes,
Yeah.
you can create a Mario level.
But the
Yeah.
World Championships just changed all that.
Yeah,
was a bit
it
of a
showed
now you
huge
can
just
create
how-
a level that's completely crazy.
That was a great
and over
advert
the
for
top.
the game. That
And they're going to
It
be
was,
in the
yeah.
game,
Yeah.
in case
Yeah.
people didn't know those levels.
Yeah,
You
those
can
levels
bounce
are...
around in a giant red stiletto.
You can, yeah.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, those levels, as Tom was saying, those levels will be available in the retail version when it comes out, the ones that they used in the World Championship. And I assume there are going to be some others as well.
Oh yeah, I suspect they'll do what they do with like Pushmore and all that, where they'll have new levels every week.
Yeah.
Or a new level.
And then, of course,
every
you'll be
week.
able to play other
I think
levels
that
from the
could be the-
community,
yeah, that
which
could be
rise
the-
to the top.
It's endless.
Yeah.
potentially.
That could, I mean, they did do
Yeah.
that in what was the last Donkey Kong, Mario vs Donkey Kong on the Wii U? What was
Yeah.
that came out
Tipping
recently?
Stars.
Tipping Stars. That had got level creation things, and that I think that might like similar to you saying with the amiibo cards, like a bit
Yeah,
of a
it's like a
test
trial
bed,
run. Yeah.
because you could vote for levels, and levels got the best ones rose to the top.
But I'm
and-
correct in thinking you could have a package of levels, so you create 4
You create a
levels
world.
and
Yeah.
bundle them
Together.
together in a world.
Can you actually do that? Because
Yeah,
people were
yeah.
talking about,
Yeah.
oh, imagine if you could create an overworld as well.
Yeah.
I have to say,
Exactly.
the
That'd be
interface
excellent.
is so
Yeah.
slick. Like they were,
It does look, it looks, everything's just so crisp and refined.
So say you create a set of platforms or a level, and you decide actually this might look better in underground.
Yeah,
That's just like a tap,
yeah, that is
and
genius.
it just does it like that. It's
That is
really.
And you can
impressive.
switch between the 4 different Mario styles
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
fly.
And I love the fact that they've created some brand new assets for the
Yeah.
older styles.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
looks really, really
Oh, the
cool.
Mario Brothers 3
Looks
visuals
amazing.
are just-
Yeah, they're my
Ridiculous.
favourite.
Yeah.
I think some of the really nice touches are like what happens when you put a Gumbo underwater.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
there
like
it is.
swims like a little
Yeah.
shrimp.
You're just going to
Yeah.
experiment just to see.
Yeah.
I saw
Yeah.
one bit where someone was in the Bowser Jr. flying thing. I'm sure someone
Clown
can
car.
tell me off.
And
or
you
not.
could
Clown copter.
Yeah,
Clown
Clown
Cop,
that's it.
And a Goomba actually jumped into the guy's thing and hijacked it. It's
No.
crazy stuff. Yeah.
And you can put like shell helmets on, can't you?
You can put, yeah,
Yeah,
shelmets.
insanity.
Shelmets. Yeah.
It's madness.
Which I think is really cool. It gives, they've just gone mental with it, haven't
Yeah.
they? And it's
I
really
think
shining because of it.
the levels in the championships were so diverse, and there was
They
even
were,
a mystery
yeah.
house with
Well, they
doors
look
and-
as detailed as any other 2D game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From
If not more so.
Mario
Well, one
Brothers
went from a
and
castle
Blues.
to underwater, back to a castle.
Do-
All of that is fantastic.
Do we know if they've got the fail-safe thing in Tipping Stars? The proviso of user-created levels was you could only upload it if you can complete it yourself.
I would
Is that
assume.
gonna
I would
be
Is
assume
that going to be added? That's
Yeah.
got to be added.
Now
Otherwise
they've
you
confirmed
just-
that's
You
Yeah.
create the most
yeah.
sadistic level
I
you
think
could.
that's got to be the bar, hasn't it?
Because that really
Yeah.
worked in Tipping Stars.
Yeah.
That's a really neat way to do it.
Yeah, you only can
Yeah.
do it if you can finish the level, then it uploads.
They have
Yeah.
confirmed that, so
They have.
Oh, okay.
Brilliant. Good.
Yeah.
That
Good.
has to be the
I mean,
case.
we could just assume that, but yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
that
that's
it's
the
in it.
Nintendo way.
Yeah,
I think
said
the
it
sort
in
of the
the
general consensus is that if Nintendo pulls this off, they're going to do very, very
I think
well
so.
from this. Yeah.
Like I said, I just want the
I
box.
don't know if it's going to sell systems. Like
It might
I
not
think
sell systems,
I
but it
think
will make the
a
fans
lot of
incredibly
people,
happy.
Yeah,
And it's a framework that can be ported across to NX, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
So
you
if
speak
it's
of
got a
NX,
touch screen.
that moves us
That's
on to the next topic, where we actually asked you, lovely people, to send us in some questions and some thoughts about the digital event or just things in general, and we've got them through. So I'm going to read some of them out, and we can discuss them. So I think we'll kick things off talking about the Nintendo NX, of course. And Michael Vasquez has sent us in a tweet that says, "Do you think that Zelda Wii U will be for the Wii U and not the Nintendo NX?"
Well, interesting question. Obviously, it's got Wii U in the name still, so
That's a bit of a giveaway.
we're pretty sure it.
Well,
will
what else are you
come
gonna
out on
call
the
it?
Wii U.
It's been
Miyamoto
confirmed,
has
hasn't it?
Yeah.
it's coming
Yes.
to the
Yeah.
I think timeline-wise, Zelda, okay, it's been delayed, but I don't think they're going to push it back too far. So I'm thinking summer next year.
That sounds sensible,
if
yeah.
it's later than that, then I think that we might get a bit nervous. As for
I
NX,
think it could be at
we
E3
don't
next
think.
year again.
Well, this
Yeah,
is it.
I think they will
it-
show it at E3 next year, and it
Yeah.
will come out for the holiday season.
Yeah.
What they might do is they might say, sort of, here's a look at Zelda Wii U. Zelda Wii U will be available for download shortly after this presentation.
You can
Maybe
hope that.
not.
We can hope,
The
yeah.
thing is, they
They'll have its own
don't
direct
have to
before
wait for E3. They,
No.
they can do a direct.
Of course they
that's
can.
all
Yeah,
about this
yeah.
game. So
That's
Yeah.
the, that's
I
the
still
beauty with
think
these directs that Nintendo
it's
does.
possible to release it pre E3 next year. It's possible.
Yeah.
There's no real reason why that's not the case unless it's not finished.
we've got another question from Muted Penguin, who has asked, hopefully you guys will be able to help me out on this, but it's intriguing. It would be nice to put you on the spot. He's asked, what happened to the Wii U AAA...
question?
What?
If it's a mute.
Shall we carry on? What happened?
How could a penguin ask
You're
a
getting
question?
into philosophy.
Anyway. What happened to the Wii U AAA port / remake that was supposed to launch this year from Tantalus Games?
Oh,
Has
that's a
it been
good
cancelled?
question, isn't it?
What
Tom,
is it?
do you
Tom,
know the answer?
have you got some thoughts on
Well,
this? Have you got any
Tantalus story
idea?
is
This-
ancient.
Yeah,
like,
Is
and
it?
this is what people said that
it started last year, so I think lots of projects get started and maybe get to the art and prototype stage and then get canned. No one has any indication, as far as I know, that it even got beyond that
Is
stage.
this a confusion
It
here?
was
that
just a thing that was happening once.
This is people, a lot of their names been mentioned with regards to the Zombie U potential port,
Has
which
it?
I don't think
Okay.
we don't know if it's happening or not because we thought it might have
Yeah.
been announced. And that was Tantalus mentioned. So I don't know
Was
whether
it?
this
Wow.
is this again, like with all rumours, this is just like no one.
All
really
I'd
knows
say is don't pin your hopes on this
on
Tantalus
games that aren't
port,
officially confirmed.
because if it was a thing, it might have been cancelled by now
Yeah.
anyway, because the Wii
And
U,
probably has been.
although the
cancelled.
Wii U's momentum's up, it's still selling poorly in the big picture.
Yeah, if you're a
Yeah.
third party.
So if you're Tantalus, you would have canned it.
We've got another question from EWHP Tivruski
Catchy.
V, the
Sounds
fifth
like a
maybe.
printer.
Yeah, it does a bit, doesn't it? Anyway, they ask, why do we think that there was absolutely no mention of Devil's Third or Fatal Frame?
Because they're mature games and they're never shown in the digital event.
Connor Porteous has asked us, what do we think that Retro Studios is working on now that we've seen the digital event and there's been no
Metroid Prime
mention of them?
4.
Metroid Prime 4.
Metroid Prime Federation Force 2.
yeah.
Well, no. I reckon their project might be an NX launch project.
It could be,
I
yeah.
agree. I think if it was a Wii U game, we would have seen it, and we
Yeah.
haven't seen it,
Yeah.
so NX.
I mean, we'll write many words about it probably in the coming weeks, but looking at the Wii U announcements and lineup, it's definitely scaling down.
Yeah.
I'd be surprised if any new Wii U games have been started in the past month.
Yeah,
I think
they're
they're
not-
literally only producing games that have already been in development. now.
Even this year.
Yeah. So
Sorry to say it, guys. But
So I
that's true.
think Retro will emerge. But I mean, if they have a launch game on the next system, that
Yeah,
will also be a huge deal.
I think this is
so-
the point. It doesn't really mean it's a bad thing.
No,
I think
it could be
it just
hugely
means
exciting.
they're working on a big project that's taking time.
If they'd have been working on something now for Wii U, that means you wouldn't be getting something cool on NX for
Exactly,
another 18
yes.
months
Exactly.
after it launched. So
So I don't. Yeah, that's right. I don't think we have to treat that as a horrible thing.
Spirit has asked us, is Triforce Heroes going to have an overworld, or is it just going to be a bit more like Four Swords, sort of drop-in dungeon style
yeah, they've
thing?
pretty much confirmed. I think they said it was dungeon based. So the idea is, I think you'll get. I mean, they might even be randomly generated dungeons, are they, or something? That was.
I don't
I
think
doubt
so.
that.
Yeah, that would.
Yeah,
I mean,
that
considering
would
how
be-
intricate
Yeah,
I'm
Zelda
not sure how that would
games
work.
are,
But they
but
did-
I
Be
can't really.
interesting, but probably not.
I can't really see it working with an overworld anyway, because there'd be
Yeah.
all three of you running around wherever you want. One of
Yeah.
you's going to
Yeah,
be in
yeah, you
Kakariko,
could-
one of
yeah.
you's going to be in Lake Hylia, and the
I think
other
that's
one's
basically a question. that
kicking it
says,
in Gerudo Valley.
we wanted a single player Zelda, and that's not going to happen. It's going to be dungeon based, so you'll be dropped into a
Yeah.
dungeon.
It'll
I
be
think
like
it's going to be
Four
very
Swords.
similar to Four Swords.
Yeah,
Yeah.
makes
Yes.
Yeah.
And to sum things up, Jake Lau has said, thanks for all the great coverage of E3 and Nintendo.
Aw.
I think that's a nice way to round it off.
It is,
I
think
yeah.
so
A
too.
positive after lots of negatives.
Yeah, well, lots of mixed responses,
Yeah,
I think is a better
yeah.
way to put it.
Yeah.
But anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then why don't you discuss that subscribe button, and be sure to check out nintendolife.com for all sorts of lovely Nintendo-related content. Thank you again for watching. Bye-bye!
Yeah. Try and edit.
Have fun.
You wanted to show that
T-shirt off, didn't you?